All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. Jack left town. Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
What was that ruckus? What ruckus? I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Describe the ruckus, sir.
Does this mean we're not friends anymore? Not me. I'm in my prime. Man, your mind. Ain't it cool? First you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me. Blow. Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
What up, everyone? DJ Nubis here with you, the Meltime Radio Podcast, doing another movie review. This time I'm doing 2024's Gladiator II. Movie stars, it was directed by Ridley Scott, stars Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, and then I'll get into some other characters down the road. The synopsis for this: after his home is conquered by the tyrannical emperors who now lead Rome, Lucius is forced to enter the Colosseum and must look to his past to find strength to return the glory of Rome to its people. Now, if you have not followed this movie and the movie prior, which is Gladiator from 2000, starring Russell Crowe, basically this movie centers around Lucius, who now goes by a different name. Basically, in the first one, Crowe is a general for Rome who was betrayed by the character by Joaquin Phoenix, who was the emperor that stepped in after he killed his dad. And Lucius was a young boy who met Maximus, which was Crowe's character in the first film, and quickly admired him as a gladiator in the arena. So again, if you have not seen the first film, I wouldn't suggest seeing this film, because then you'll be entirely lost on the whole plot of it all, because it does tie into the first film. So basically how this starts out is Lucius as a child is sent away by his mother, Lucinda, played by Connie Nelson, and she's the one at the end of the first Gladiator that was talking highly about Maximus after his death. So she sends the boy away to protect him, because he was actually next in line after Phoenix's character was killed in the first film. So she knew that people would be trying to kill the kid to gain control of Rome. He was so young that there's nothing he would have been able to do to fight for himself in that respect. So she sent him away, and he ended up growing up, and he married another woman. I think that place was Nimba or Nimbus. What's the name of the country they were in or area? And she was also a warrior they were soldiers for that army there. And what was happening was Rome was kind of going around conquering different countries and stuff like that. And they were working their way to Nimba, which the lead general for the two emperors, played by Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things, Stardom, as Eddie. And then Fred Hechinger is the other emperor, the younger son or younger brother of Geta, played by Quinn. So the lead general now is played by Pedro Pascal from, Mandalorian fame and other films like that. He's really built a name for himself as an actor. He's now this lead general named Acacius, and he's now also married to Lucilla, Lucia's mom, but we don't find this out. At least Lucia doesn't find this out till later. So anyway, Acacius and the Rome army are invading them, and they end up taking over and destroying them. It was pretty easy. They had like a lot of forces, and Acacius is a really, really skilled general and fighter. So, but there's a moment where they're fighting, and Acacius like almost gets hit by an arrow by Lucius' wife, who's an archer. And Acacius like, take out the archer. He's just doing what generals do, like in war. And so they end up killing her. And Lucius ends up getting knocked out and falls into the ocean from the wall. But he has in his memory once he wakes back up on shore, and he's going to make it his objective to kill Acacius whenever he can. This is sort of like a similar plot to Gladiator I. So anyway, anybody that was left over from the war became slaves and open to the slave market. And this is where Denzel Washington's character, Macrinus, comes in. And much like the first film, he's buying the rights to Lucius as a slave that he's going to use in gladiator fights. And so the first fight that he sees him in, they're fighting baboons. Terrible CGI for this. But they're fighting these baboons, and the actual leader or king of the nation that he was with survived with him, but was very wounded. And so baboon jumps on them and kills the leader, that his king or leader, whatever it was. And that kind of just leaves now Lucius by himself, and he ends up biting the baboon and killing the baboon himself, which gets, Macrinus's attention. That's why he purchases him. So there's like this back and forth a little bit as they're, Macrinus is trying to get to know Lucius, who's not very cooperative. He's just stubborn. He's angry about a lot of things. And so eventually they end up going to the arena, the Colosseum in Rome. That's where he wants to fight, because Lucius has told Macrinus, I want to kill Acacius. I want his head. That's his goal. And so Macrinus, we know he wants to move up from where he is as a slave owner to getting in the Senate. He's very bright. He's very deceptive. He's very, he knows how to talk with people. He knows how to work people. There's one senator that he's constantly betting against and winning. Who owes him a lot of money a lot of times. So we see down the road where he ends up taking over all the property that this senator had, leaving him homeless, which was kind of funny. And there's just a moment where Macrinus is actually talking to, and I'll just play a little bit of the footage here for you all to see some of the movie, but he's basically just, he told the senator, this is my house now. And so, it's, again, he's getting more information, but anyway, let's see here. So out of the twin emperors that we see here with Acacius, the youngest one has this real strong bloodlust. Almost matches Joaquin Phoenix's lust for blood as well at the Colosseum. He's all about death, all about fighting to the death. Whereas Quinn, who plays the older one, get a little more level-headed. He's the one that kind of runs the show, basically. The little one just kind of follows him around a little bit. But there is this weird brotherly love, and not so much in sexual way, but just, they have some pretty poor habits, that you see generally with emperors, maybe liking boys or too much or whatever. It's just a really weird vibe from them. But they are, in fact, very much in power. But the thing is that Acacius, their general, is actually the more favorable image of Rome. So with Acacius coming back and, basically wanting to take a break. They're like, no, we have like Persia, we want to take over. We want to take over this. So they're basically just trying to force him to keep fighting and keep grabbing land and take over nations and stuff. So it kind of pisses off Acacius a little bit, who I said again is married to Lucilla. And so anyway, this also becomes a problem because once Lucius is there in the Colosseum fighting, he does see that Acacius is with his mom. So he's kind of really pissed now because he knows that they're kind of together. And there's a moment where she comes to see him because she recognized something that is said by him by a poem. And this is where the biggest reveal happens really in the film, is basically where she tells Lucius that Maximus was actually her dad. So she had already been married, but she had an affair with Maximus, and he was the one that ended up being the father. And even though Maximus already had another wife and child, I don't think Maximus knew, if I recall from the first film, that Lucius was his kid. But, he did, like at the end of the first Gladiator, when he's dying, he's like, Lucius would be safe. And that's pretty much what it was, because Lucius was also a target for Phoenix affections, which was very disgusting at that moment for that film. So that's really where Maximus was like kind of just taking like, hey, your son's going to be okay, but not realizing that it was his own son through her. But you always kind of knew they had like this connection to one another at some point in that first film. So she gives the reveal, and this really makes Lucius mad. He's already resentful because she sent him away and he had to go through all that pain with his wife. But now this reveals like, oh, fuck, you dropping this on me now? Like, no, that's not cool. So he kind of pushes her away. But there is another cool moment where this healer who's been kind of binding his wounds, and after every fight and stuff and talking with him, he goes, well, let me show you something. And he takes him down to this sarcophagus area. And it's the burial for all the gladiators. And Maximus's grave is down there in the wall, and it has like his armor, his swords, and other things that he was wearing the day he died. And there's like appreciation. It's like a really cool moment that Lucius gets to see with his dad and his grave there. Some of the fights are pretty cool. The rhino fight was really cool. You saw it through the clip there. Really cool moment there with that. But I love the idea of the Colosseum with the sharks, like the naval thing. Like that was really cool. How they would actually be able to attain that in the Colosseum like that, in that nature, is, you had to kind of take your imagination away and say, yeah, you could probably do it. But it's a cool idea. But the sharks, again, CGI looks really bad. So I was kind of disappointed in all that part of it. But the fight itself with the boats was cool. And you probably could have left it at that and it would have been fine. But nice attempt at mixing it up with that as well. Fight scenes are good. As far as the sword play and everything, there is a moment where Acacius is, now being asked by his wife to help Lucius. She's honest with him about who Lucius is. Now, Acacius really doesn't know too much about the bloodlust that Lucius has to kill him because of the wife until later down in the end. And because they're actually forced to fight one another. And Acacius is actually trying to explain to him, I don't want to kill you. We need to not kill each other here. We have the same goal, because they want to overtake the emperors, and this is why Acacius has been arrested and forced to fight Lucius. Even though the movie's been out for a while, I'm not going to give away too many spoilers. I think it's on Paramount Plus right now, so if you want to watch it or you just rent it or whatever, go ahead and do so. But what I will say is, while the movie tries its hardest to capture the emotion and intensity of the original, it never really quite gets there like it wants to. In fact, there's one scene towards the end that kind of irks me still a little bit, just because it wasn't needed. I know why they did it, in order to push the final confrontation. But to me, it really could have been just like you didn't really have to go there, because that was kind of playing a little bit too close to the vest. Now, granted, the film itself, which I can appreciate, doesn't do that. It doesn't stay that close to the vest. Like, you're not going to get the same kind of ending you got with the first one, which is good. You know, that would have been just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is stupid. But they did do another thing that I thought was really dumb. Like, it doesn't really bring you any more emotion or closure to that, other than the fact that it drives to another point in regards to the mother. Overall, the actors did very well. Actually, I thought this was one of Pascal's better roles as an actor for me, outside Mandalorian. Denzel clearly is the best of the bunch, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that his character arc is like the best in the entire movie. So where he starts and where he ends is a massive, great writing and great acting by Denzel, the way that he handled that arc that he went to. And he is by far the best in this film. And if he does get an Oscar nomination, he most certainly deserves it on every level. Rating wise, I always gave Gladiator a 10 out of 10. This one, probably more about an 8 out of 10 for me. Like I said, it tries to capture these same emotions that we felt from the first one, and it does in some moments, but overall it doesn't really match or get you there. And also, you know, the controversy when this movie got released on a trailer was when we did the reaction. I know some other friends of mine who did reactions to it as well, is the rap music during the trailer. It didn't match. But there's no rap music in this film, which, thank the fucking Lord, at least I didn't hear any that I can remember. So why they chose that for the trailer makes no sense. Like, that really did it a disservice. So if you were deterred because of that, don't be. Check out the movie. I can tell you probably not going to live up to the first one, but I think it's better than most people would give it credit for. I actually enjoyed this a bit. And again, I thought the actors did fine. The guys playing the emperors were great. Again, masterful job with Denzel working that relationship with the emperors and everything. Like, if you watch it, you'll know what I mean. It's a good 8 out of 10. Nothing super great. It's not Oscar as far as like winning nominations for him, but outside of Denzel, of course. But it's fine. It's a fine movie, and I was pleased with it. No problems here. I haven't watched any of the other reviews yet. I'll probably go and check them out to see what some of the other guys said about it, because I want to hold off until I actually saw it. And yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Now, coming up, I'm going to be doing a reaction video to the Gamma versus Godzilla, the movie we should have gotten, we never saw. There's a guy that did named Dragon Curve who did a video for it, so I'm going to do a reaction video to that. Just kind of give my commentary on it. And then tomorrow, I'll be joining Sentry and a few others to talk about season 2 of Castlevania Nocturne. I actually just posted a link about some people on X who were upset about what they consider woke aspects of it. While I can certainly see some of what they're saying, and this has always kind of been prevalent in the series itself, which isn't, to me isn't. There's always a difference between being diverse and inclusive, and then there's just being blatantly preachy about it. Nothing in the Castlevania series gives me that indication that that's what they're doing. In fact, most of the stuff that we see even with the church is more diverse and nuanced than what some people are saying. Some people are very angry that they're making the church out to be the villain, but religion can be corrupted. And I'll explain some of this when we talk about it tomorrow on Century's channel. But, you have to really be an open mind when you watch any kind of film or series. And even if you're somebody who doesn't like the woke stuff, there's a place for it if it works within the context of a story that's a strong story, which I believe Castlevania is. And then there's just stuff where it doesn't work, like Star Wars Acolyte or something, you know what I mean? So there is a place for DEI, if you want to call it that. And then there's a place where it's just overused or overdone and done in the wrong way. Anyway, I don't want to get more than that. So this is all about Gladiator 2. Check it out and give me your thoughts down in the comment section. Please hit the like and subscribe. Appreciate your support as always, and enjoy the rest of your day.